Good noon, all of you. I hope I'm clearly visible and audible. All right. So, I welcome you to this session, and today we are going to cover 4 topics in one class, right? Why this session? So, see, fill in the blanks, synonym, antonyms, they are very crucial when it comes to MAHCET CET. Although they are some of the most basic question types in vocabulary, however, they still remain the ones that are the most dominant. So, we need to be, not just aware, we need to practice them a lot. Also, word exchange is a new question type that we are going to deal with today. Okay, so that will be something new for you. It didn't come last year, but in the years before that, it has appeared, right? So if you pick up the memory based papers, you will find it. And lastly, we are going to talk about one more question type, which is error correction, right? So this is very similar to your error spotting and sentence correction questions in terms of the concept, right? So you will be given a sentence, then it will be phrased in 5 different ways. You have to find the one sentence that is actually grammatically and semantically correct, right? So vocabulary, grammar, and a new question type all combined today in one session. And of course, the idea is always to pick up more and more new words. That will also happen. So, good afternoon, Roosters, Krishna, Tanvi, Rishabh. Good afternoon, Dharmi, Abhilasha, Abhiram. Hi, Sanil, Ajinkya. Hello. Okay. So, I think we can begin our session for the day. All right, then. So, here's a fill in the blank, okay, question. So, in your exam also, if you again look at your previous year MAHCET paper, so last year, if I talk about last year itself, you got such fill in the blank questions wherein there was one sentence or one short paragraph which had multiple blanks, right? Usually 3 to 4 blanks, and you had to fill in the correct option there, of course, right? You have to mark the correct option. So, read this sentence and tell me what's the best fit here. Yes. Good afternoon, Pandey, Vivek, Prashant, Prats, Praveen. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. Good noon. Hello, Sarvadnya. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Praveen has answered the fastest and he says A. Let's see what the others say. Krishna says D. Okay. But that message was retracted. Hi, Kashish. Good noon. Vivek says D. Dharmi D. Prashant also says D. Rooster says E. Sanil D. Okay. E. D. D. A. Okay. So far I've got A, D, E, B. Okay. Only C is left. Only C is left. Thank you, Nina. Okay. So A, D. Yes, this is from Eon. This is from Eon. I made this question from there. All right. So let's discuss. Let's discuss this. I've got C also now. So we have to pay a lot of attention to the context in fill in the blank question, right? So the idea that God's existence could be proven by simply observing life on earth. The idea that God's existence could be proven by simply observing life on earth. Then when I put this dash, this is called the M dash. This is used for explaining things. It works just like a colon. Like after the colon also we explain, elaborate things. So explain, elaborate. It's used to explain or elaborate. So that dash presence could be found in human eyes. So in a way, I am elaborating this idea only that God's existence could be proven by simply observing life on earth. That dash presence, so most likely I'm talking about God's presence only here, right? That God's presence could be found in human eyes. So elaborating the idea of simply observing life on earth here, right? So I want something that matches God's presence. So of course, material cannot be the answer. Material, something that is worldly, earthly, right? And not really belonging to God. Abstract, okay, not rejecting it right away. Scientific presence, no. Again, the idea is God's presence. So even D is eliminated. Religious presence, let's see if the sentence talks about religion later on, because here it does not talk about any particular religion, it just talks about God's existence. But still, I have not rejected it. So from this one blank, I could reject two options, right? That God's presence could be found in human eyes, the wings of bees, the order of orchids, or the movements of the planets. Basically, I am currently observing life on Earth through these examples, right? Seemed. So this idea that God's existence could be proven simply by observing life on Earth seemed dash in a dash world where science reigned, where science ruled. So, what kind of a world would it be where science ruled? Yes. So here I am talking about God, and here I am talking about the fact that science reigns in this world. So I'm contrasting it with a godly world where, let's say, God reigns or religion reigns, right? So when you contrast a world where religion reigns or rules, okay, versus a world where science reigns. So, what kind of a world would it be? Look at your options: new, secular, liberal. New, secular, liberal. Which one matches the best? Tell me. I think secular and liberal are better fits as compared to new. It's not about old versus new, isn't it? So, secular and liberal are better fits. Even this is eliminated, right? So, let's come to C and E. C and E. Now, here, divine presence matches this because I am talking about God. Okay. Plus, my focus was not on a particular religion, also, right? So, divine presence fits better. But let's look at the second blank also. Seemed dash. It seemed absurd, also is fine. And archaic also fits because here I am saying that in our world, science reigns. So this idea that you can actually find out God just by observing human eyes, just by observing life on Earth, this seems old because we have made so much progress in science that this simplistic idea that look at the world around you, look at everything that's present. Don't you think that somebody divine created it? That seems a little archaic. That seems a little old, right? So this is our answer. Our answer is C here. Okay. All right. So Vishal says C, secular, you agree with. All right. Good noon, Vicky. Archaic means something that's old and no longer in use. That is archaic. When you look up various words in the dictionary, sometimes below a word you would find this written, archaic. That means this word is no longer in use. It's an old word, right? Archaeology. Archene is a root which means old. Archene, it means old. What does archaeology do? Studies old things, right? So I hope this is clear. And if you have any query, please do ask. Please do ask. Okay. So this is from an article in Aeon, right? The name of the article was God Beyond Logic. And interesting article, you can consider reading it. Another one that I found interesting was the art of listening. I think it's very relevant for you, right? Because you are preparing for a management course, you're going to be managers, leaders tomorrow, and listening becomes very important there, right? And it's not just important for managers and leaders, it's important for everyone. Okay, so C is our answer here. Far-fetched, absurd, I hope you understand their meanings. Absurd, something that's illogical. Far-fetched, something that you cannot conclude from the given facts, right? And the others are easy. So this was purely contextual vocabulary. The words given were not difficult words as such, right? We just had to understand which one fits the best. And abstract means something that's not material or concrete. It's the opposite of material or concrete. All right, then let's proceed to the next question. Good afternoon. Yes. So another fill up for you. Let's see what you say. 3 blanks again based on the last year's pattern. All right. A, E, B. So we have a vocabulary word right in the chat box. Oneiromancy. What does it mean? Oneiromancy? Yes. Anyone except the person whose name it is. All right, I've got my responses also. So primarily B, D, I've got one or two E's also and one A also. So A, B, D, E, all of these. Okay. That means you are saying that C can be rejected, right? Because the word plastic, see, we probably are not looking for a negative word in this blank. So this one could have been done through our tone as well. So in the context, make use of the tone, understand the tone, as well as being easy to dash and to dash. The smile is also highly dash. So we are probably giving some positive words all throughout, because as well as also, that means I'm talking in the same tone about similar points, right? They are not contradictory points. Okay. So then what was the answer that was the most popular? I think B. B was the most popular, followed by D. Very good. B is the answer here, right? Let's see why. I think these three could be rejected because of the third blank, right? Because the smile is also highly plastic. A plastic smile is never considered a good smile. That means it's a fake smile, right? Plastic features, plastic smile, plastic treatments, they are considered fake. So, stringent, something that's very rigid, stringent rules in the school. Demanding, something that demands a lot out of you, is not easy. So this opposes, actually this goes against what we have stated earlier. So these three can be rejected in this. Okay, now it comes to this. Now produce, okay fine, produce and make both can fit here. And to expand, I have a problem with expand. Expanding the smile, widening the smile, I understand. Expanding the smile, I have never heard it in this context, right? Never heard expand in this context. Then the smile is also highly flexible. Okay, could still fit. But because of the expand, I feel that this is a better fit. It's easy to make, it's easy to recognize, and it's also highly versatile. It can serve many purposes, right? So a clear mention of all the advantages, okay, or all the benefits of smile, right? So our answer is B, Bangalore. All right. So uh, I hope this is clear to everybody. This again is from an article from the Aeon, and the name of the article, it has something to do with the smile. Okay, and interesting article again. Right. So oneiromancy, I asked you a while ago, right? So see, I'm just again going through the root word technique. Have you heard necromancy? Necromancy. What is necromancy? Any idea? Okay. Chiromancy. Anybody? Chiromancers, if you've heard. So, this there is a common root here that all these words share. Any idea what that root is? Yes, what would it mean? It's the art of foretelling the future. Okay, the art of basically interpreting. You're predicting someone's future by through something. Okay, so necromancy is actually related to, necro means the dead. Okay, necro means the dead. So what would a necromancer do? A necromancer would pretend, okay, or basically communicate with the dead to predict the future, right? Communicating with the dead, because this means dead, to predict the future. Chiro is related with hands, chiropractor. So basically looking, palmistry. This is just a fancy word for palmistry, right? Looking at someone's palms to foretell their future. Now this oneiro here means dreams. So interpreting the dreams to predict the future. Interpreting the dreams to predict the future. Right? Good. So necromaniac, somebody who's obsessed with dead bodies. Yes, correct. Necromania. Necrophilia is also a word which again means love for dead, love for the dead, or love for dead bodies, right? Somebody who forecasts. Yes. Necromancers are said that, it's said that they indulge in black magic, right? And yes, absolutely correct. Yes, Gaurav. So who is a chauvinist? Chauvinism. See, a general meaning of the word is, when you look at the general meaning of the word, basically when you consider yourself to be superior and others to be inferior on some basis, right? So, if there is an extreme form of patriotism, if you are jingoistic, jingoism is an extreme and negative form of patriotism where you feel your country is superior and other countries are inferior. That is also a synonym for chauvinism, right? However, it is increasingly used in the context of gender. So, when we say a male chauvinist, that means a person who thinks that men are superior and women are inferior, right? So, generally, it means anyone who has this superiority complex thinks that he is superior and others are inferior, particularly in the context of patriotism, okay, extreme patriotism, and in the context of, let's say, gender discrimination, right? I hope this makes sense. All right. Negative word, definitely. Now coming to our next question. See, again, no difficult words here as well. Okay. So a synonym question. You have to basically give a synonym of this underlined word. Okay. It takes effort to appreciate avant-garde art. Okay. So I've got E, C, B. Okay. Good, Pranav. That's great that you know this. I want you to find out the story behind chauvinism. There is a story behind chauvinism. Go into its etymology. We've had an etymology session yesterday. So now I want you to look at words from this angle of etymology. Okay. It is an eponym. In case you know the meaning of eponym, great. In case you do not, then you have to find out this also. What is an eponym? Right? Okay, so quite a lot of C's here, right? And a couple of B's and D's also, right? Let's look at it. So C primarily, then B, D, and I think I found one E also somewhere. So it takes effort to appreciate avant-garde, avant, advanced, right? Guard, okay, so advanced guard here. Have you heard of this word vanguard? Vanguard. When a group of people is a pioneer in a certain field, the first in a particular field, the first to do something, the first to develop something that is one of a kind, such people are called the vanguard of that field, right? And let's say if they develop a technology, for instance, that technology would be a vanguard technology. Okay, so avant-garde art means vanguard art, the first of its kind, right? If you explore the Western art movements, you will find that in the 19th and 20th century, there were a lot of such avant-garde art movements that happened in Italy, France, etc. Right? Mainly France and Italy because they were the hubs of art. So you will find some very eccentric artists there. There's a movie that I want to recommend to you. Maybe it will give you some little idea about this. Midnight in Paris. Okay, so it's about a writer who goes for a walk at midnight in Paris and he somehow walks back in time. Okay, he time travels and goes back in time to the, I think, to the 50s, 60s. So 1950s, 60s, that's where he goes back. So it's about the writers of the time. It's about Hemingway, some artists like, I think, Pablo Picasso has been shown and a couple more artists, right? So do watch this. Interesting movie, boring nahi hai. So modern avant-garde means modern or state of the art, right? And unorthodox, yes, something that's unorthodox. Abhilasha, great. If you've seen it, then you know what I'm talking about. Uh, Inventive, we did yesterday itself. Went, remember? We did this root went, which means to come. Right. So when a lot of ideas come to you, a lot of ideas are there in your mind. When you discover things, that's when you are an inventive person. Right. So avant-garde means something that's very original, something very inventive. Traditional, no. Reactionary people are conservative people. They are conservative people. So even this is rejected. Exquisite. Yes. We did exquisite also yesterday. So this is a revision also that is happening side by side. Quisite. What does this root mean? Actually, the root is querere. I told you yesterday also. Tell me, what does this mean? Yes, we have seen some RCs also, Vicky. And I took a session. I took a series of sessions. I think it will be helpful for you. Last year I took them. It goes by the name Must Know Words. Okay, Must Know Words for, and I think I took 4 to 5 sessions. So in one class we covered Must Know Words for art. Okay, how basically must know words for art RC passages, and there I discuss some Western art movements along with the pictures from various movements, right? So you can watch this session. I particularly find these art movements very interesting. Okay, so quizit is to seek, to find, correct, to seek, to ask, and exquisite, something that is very sought out, something that people really seek out, something that's very beautiful in a delicate way, that is exquisite. So does not fit here, of course. And what is haute couture? Yes, haute couture. Tell me. Haute couture, it's a French word. Come on, no fans of dash here. What am I talking about when I say haute couture? It's related to fashion. Yes, correct, Pranav. Correct, correct. So, high fashion, high fashion, high class fashion, the fashion of the day that is very trending. I mean, something that's very trendy and also considered very chic, very elegant, very high class. That is called haute couture, right? It's a French term that has been adopted in English. Yes, expensive clothes, right? So Mansi, you can actually put the queries in the chat box and we can discuss. Otherwise, in case you want to attend our sessions, let's say on a regular basis, then you have to enroll with us. Okay. All right. So C is our answer here. Avant-garde, the meaning is understood. And which language does avant-garde come from? Haute couture we know. How about avant-garde? What's the story behind it? As in which language does it come from? Etymology. It is again a French word. Okay, it's a French word. All right. Yes, the Met Gala. God, the Met Gala is something. You see all kinds of dresses from absurd to really classy as well. Right. Anyway, that's just my opinion. So, antonym. You have to give me the antonym of this word. Now, in such questions, even in your exam, sometimes the word that you come to through elimination might not be an exact antonym, but that's the word that is the farthest basically, or the most opposite. So always look for this, the farthest in meaning or the most opposite. So yesterday I kept the instructions also like this, the farthest in meaning or the most opposite. So tell me. Good, good. Haute, basically the H is silent, Tanvi. Haute couture. Haute couture. Right. So as a teenager, I read this book, this novella that I later on came to know was plagiarized. It was how Opal Mehta got kissed, got wild, and got alive. Okay, something that I just picked up on a railway station. So that had this sentence that you can put a person in couture. You can put a person in couture, but you can't put couture in a person. That means fine, you can put a person in fine clothes, expensive clothes, but you can't really put style in a person, a sense of style in a person, right? That is what it had. But then, yes, I got to know later parts of it were plagiarized, but all right. So, very few people possess rectitude today. And the answers that I've got are primarily D and 1E. Okay, 1E stands out. So, rectitude. So, any idea, rectitude, it is something that's present in correct also. Correct. Yes. So, the morally right way of behaving. Okay. The morally right way of behaving. That's why it shares its root with correct, right? Now, self-righteousness, self-righteousness. All right, that's a word here that I want us to consider in depth. And this word promiscuity, because I think you should have narrowed down to A and D. Now let's eliminate the others, B, C, and E. So virtue is something that can be rejected, right? Easily, because virtue is also a positive word. It also means when somebody is virtuous, they behave in the right way, morally, ethically right way. Chastisement is not really related. Chastisement is not related to rectitude. When you chastise someone, what is it that you do? Yes. When you chastise someone, you scold someone, okay? You admonish someone. So chastise is to scold. Chastise is to scold. To admonish. We did this, yes. To chide. What else? We did one more vocabulary word related to this. To reprimand. Remember reprimand? Right? All of these, to scold, to admonish, to chide, to reprimand, they mean to scold. Okay. सबका मीनिंग है आपने स्कोल्ड करा तो ये तो रिलेटेड ही नहीं है राइट इट्स सी कुड बी इजीली रिजेक्टेड बी इज अ सिमिलर वर्ड discernment is also a positive word when you are a discerning person you're able to distinguish between right and wrong right you are a perspicacious person if you remember this from yesterday this word perspicacious right so perspicacity is discernment and No, I need a negative word, right? So A versus D. A versus D. Now, a lot of you have said D, and you are correct. D is the answer. But even self-righteous is a negative word. That is something that I want to tell you. Righteousness is a positive word. Righteousness, positive word. Somebody who is righteous is again, this person possesses moral rectitude, right? This person behaves in a morally correct way. Okay, so a synonym. But self-righteousness means, any idea? Self-righteousness, why does it become negative? Because you think that you are superior than other people. There are these people, no, who think that they are morally superior to all the others around them. They are ethically superior, others are not. Such people are self-righteous, right? So that is what makes it a negative term. These people have the sense of one-upmanship. We are better. Now, promiscuity. Promiscuity is the farthest in meaning. That is why D is the answer. Okay, even A is negative, but promiscuity means having. What does promiscuity mean? Jaldi jaldi batao. Promiscuous. That means somebody who has many transient sexual relationships, multiple sexual partners. Such a person is called promiscuous. So promiscuity is a negative word and it is often seen as the opposite of morally right behavior. Okay, so that's why promiscuity is the exact opposite. Okay, promiscuous, having multiple sexual partners, basically transient sexual relationships. That's the idea. Okay. No, ego से related नहीं है. अच्छा, probably you are talking about self-righteous, then yes, you could say that such people tend to be snobbish, right? Okay. So I hope this is clear to everybody why D is the answer and why A is a negative word but is not the answer. Okay. Any queries? Ask me. All right. Thank you, Vicky. I read your comment earlier. And yes, if you've been enjoying the session, please do press the like button. And if you want anything more to be covered, you can always comment. Do share it with your friends. I think vocabulary sessions particularly can help everybody and not just someone preparing for entrance exams. Okay. I tend to share it with my friends also because as we grow up, our vocabulary becomes increasingly limited. It becomes limit for those who don't read, it becomes limited to our conversations. And in our conversations, we don't tend to use very difficult vocabulary words, right? So do share it with people who would enjoy watching such things, learning such things, and do subscribe to the channel. You know that already. Okay. All right. Yes, wantonness is a synonym of promiscuity. Correct. Aphrodisiac is related in the sense that it's related to sex. So in that sense, yes, it is related. Aphrodisiac. It has a very interesting etymology. Okay, so Aphrodite. Any idea who Aphrodite is? It comes from Aphrodite. Now, some of you will start reading and attempting this question. Just hold your horses. Let's just discuss the meaning of aphrodisiac. So, Aphrodite is the Greek goddess of love. The Greek goddess of love. Right? Sexual desires, you could also say that. Now, aphrodisiac is something that, yes, arouses sexual desires. That is that kind of a food or drink, basically, a food or drink that arouses sexual desires. That is an aphrodisiac. Okay. So that is the meaning and it is related to Greek mythology. This is mythology, okay, what we just discussed. All right. So I hope this is clear. And yes, Greek mythology offers some very interesting words to us. Again, last year I took a session on words based on Greek mythology. In case someday you are interested in learning them, then you can still find that session over YouTube. Okay, on our channel. So word exchange or word rearrangement. This is a unique MAHCET question type. Okay. And in this, what happens is you get a sentence, but the words in this sentence have been jumbled except one word. Except one word, all the words have been jumbled. You just have to find that one word which is in its correct position and needs no exchange, right? So let's see what you say. This is our sentence. This is our sentence. Okay, she is also the goddess of beauty. All right, Abhilasha, of love and beauty. All right. Hi, Vishnu. Attempt this question. Let's see what you say. Gaurav says B. Okay. C. All right. What else? So B, C should come in place of A. Okay. So then C cannot be the answer going by that logic. So B again. A lot of B's I've got. Then a couple of C's again. B. Okay. All right. All right. So see, even though when you first read the sentence, it appears to be relatively complex and you feel that, okay, we are probably, it will be difficult to arrange these words. But the point is, you just have to identify the one word which is correct. Okay, you don't have to arrange all the others as well. Even if you know that roughly, okay, this position of this word is wrong here, that will suffice. You don't have to arrange them, the entire sentence in its correct order. You don't have to arrange all the words. So the answer is B, absolutely correct. Okay, B is in its correct place. And if I have to arrange all the others, this is how this sentence will read. In the case of development, the dash was the new post-war international order. The dash. The dash what? Q, onset. What will I write here? Tell me. The or the birth. Does that fit? So this will go like this: by the birth, by the demise of the empires, just a second, and the dash of several new independent states. This will be here, demise. The birth of the cold. So in fact, the birth also seems to be in its correct position. Wait. Just a second, just a second. You were saying the birth should come here. Okay, the birth was the new. No. By the dash of empires, the dash of the Cold War, and the dash. Uh, just a second. Okay, I've got confused myself, even though I made this question. If, no, this is so. This can be demise of the empires. The onset of the Cold War. Yes, the demise of the empires, the onset of the Cold War, and the dash of several independent states. What should come here? Not Q. I think Q will come here. Q will come here. So what is left? Demise, onset. Something doesn't fit. Something doesn't fit. And the dash of several. हाँ ठीक है तो birth आ गया ना. Okay, birth comes here. All right. Okay, so got confused there for a bit. So in the case of development, the signal was the new post-war international order characterized by the demise of empires, the onset of the Cold War. So a war starts, right? So the onset of the Cold War and the birth, a lot of independent states were born, right? The so-called Third World. So I just remembered the correct answer, which is B. I somehow forgot the arrangement. Right. Anyway, in the exam, you also have to focus on the correct one, which is B. Good. Okay. Coming to our next question. Again, you have to do the same thing. Tell me which is correct in its position. The most commonly logical systems of tentacles, when taken to their defended conclusion, extend their morality to every choice. Okay, let's see what you say. So your sentences can be abstract like this. It does give you a sense of completion, fulfillment. That's the case even with CAT, odd sentence out parajumbles, but don't do it in the exam. In the exam, if you have a very strong hunch that B is the answer, just leave it at that and proceed, right? We have to save our time as well. Okay, so E is what all of you say. All right. Any other option? So even though again the sentence seemed complicated, it was easy to identify the word that was in its correct position. You are absolutely correct. It's choice. Okay. So the most commonly defended systems of morality when taken to their logical conclusion. I think this was the biggest clue. This should be logical conclusion. So you understand this is not in its correct place. Extend their tentacles. They extend their tentacles. So to every choice. Absolutely. So this was an article that talked about what is morality. That, when we talk about various systems of morality, if let's say we start defining them, no, then we'll have to be moral in every choice out there, every choice that we make. Something that's very difficult for human beings to do, because in some cases there is no clear moral choice. There are such circumstances in human lives, right? Find out more about ethical dilemmas. You'll understand what I'm talking about. Ethical dilemmas. Okay. They're often used as case studies in various interviews, job interviews, even in your B school group activities. Okay, let's see this. The third question of this type. Let's see what you say. In the given question, 5 words are printed in bold, so the instructions are absolutely the same. All right. Yes. E, okay. All right. A, okay. Others. C, D, okay. So just B is left, I think. Okay, okay. So I'm getting multiple responses. That shows that probably this is relatively complex for you, right? As has been written by one of you. Okay. So an alarming number of whites, however, are not prepared to allow a commitment, this is the answer, to liberalism. To allow a commitment to liberalism to stand in the way of resisting the threat, that the demographic shift seems to pose to their self interest. This is the order here, right? Now basically, if I have to give you a context, this is about the fact that while it's about human hypocrisy actually, that while a lot of white people today say that they are liberals, they are not discriminatory towards black people, towards minorities, yet when let's say an increasing number of outsiders, as they call them, they come and they have a better claim to American jobs, let's say, the white people are extremely dissatisfied and they oppose this practice, even though they tend to call themselves liberals. Okay, so an alarming number of whites are not prepared to allow a commitment to liberalism. Although they are committed to liberalism, they are not allowed to uh, allowed that this they don't allow this, that this commitment comes in their way of resisting this threat, this perceived threat of the demographic shift. A demographic shift has happened in America. It is happening more and more as more and more people emigrate to America, right? So a demographic shift seems to pose to their self-interest. Of course, it poses a threat to their self-interest. They say that the outsiders are taking away our jobs, right? So this is what this article was about, and commitment has been placed correctly here. Okay, I hope you are aware of the overturning of Roe versus Wade. Yes, if you are reading the news, this is the news. So you have to tell me more about it. I want to know how many of you are aware of it, how many of you read the newspapers on a daily basis, and this will also tell me particularly that whether you are reading some any NYT or Guardian articles or not. Okay, even if you are not reading the NYT, the Guardian, no, this must have popped on your notifications. Okay, this is in the news everywhere, right? So tell me. Coming to this question, tell me. It is extremely unfortunate. It's like they are going back in time, and it made somehow made me glad that I wasn't born there, or I don't live in the US. So yes. So the US has put a ban on abortion. Okay, overturning a case. I mean, Roe versus Wade. The judgment regarding abortion was made in this case. Okay, so this has been overturned and abortion has been banned in the US. Okay, so, all right. A, B. I understand that, Kashish. I also have similar feelings. A, all right. C, D, E. So a lot of you are saying A. Okay. What is the meaning of this word acolytes? Acolytes. Who are acolytes? These are followers. Followers or assistants. They are called acolytes. Okay, so Trump and his poll watchers. Quite a few of you have said A. Poll watchers, let's say I don't know the meaning of the word, but even if I look at it on its face, so poll watchers, people who are watching the poll, the election poll taking place, right? So the polling taking place. Now, Trump and his poll watchers, uh, okay, sounds a little jarring, but fine. Let me just read the other parts and probably this will become clearer. Hyped up dash stories, hyped up found stories about dead people voting or people voting twice or votes being similar. Votes being found makes more sense. Votes being found, that okay, we have found some votes. And here probably similar can come. Okay, of dash being barred and so on. So acolytes fits better here. Trump and his chamchas, basically the sycophants, right? So Trump and his acolytes hyped up similar stories about dead people voting or people voting twice or votes being found or poll watchers being barred. Basically, poll watchers being barred from watching the poll, right? They were not allowed to observe the poll process. Poll watchers are these people who are appointed so as to see that that a poll takes place in an unbiased manner, okay, and in a peaceful manner. So poll watchers being barred, E is the answer here. E was in its correct position. Yes, correct, Vishal. Disciple. Vishnu, correct. Followers is the answer for acolytes. So E is the answer here. Good. Some of you did say E. Oneiromancy, Vicky, Saurabh, Correct, correct. So these are some word exchange or word rearrangement questions. And now the last question type, error correction. So let's quickly see these two sentences. The first option is just a repetition of the original sentence. The other four are different. So you have to tell me which is correct, which sentence here is correct, which option. All right, let's see. Fastest fingers first. Yes. Let's see. Okay, Kashish, I will. I'll read about it. When the guests came out, my daughter asked them politely if they wanted to eat anything. D, C, okay. D, C, all right. E, B, okay. So for B, C, D, E, all of them. Okay, okay. All right. So let's see who answered the fastest and accurately. That's what we are going to see. The answer is when the guests came over, my daughter asked them politely if they wanted to eat something. So C is the answer. Sanskar answered the fastest. Okay. Good, good. Followed by Sonali and Prats. Now, why not the others? Let's just see the errors. When the guests came out, so literally it would mean to come out of a room, let's say. Metaphorically, to come out of the closet, it means to finally publicly declare this or announce this that a person is homosexual. That is what it means to come out of the closet, right? So when the guests came out, does not make sense in this context. Okay, came in, came over, they make better sense. Now, another error. My daughter asked them politely if they wanted to eat anything. That is wrong. Some versus any. Okay. When you make an offer, when you offer someone something, let's say water, food, etc., you do not use any there because any is used in negative sentences and questions, whereas some is used in positive sentences. If you use any, that is considered rude in such cases when you're making an offer. That means you expect the answer to be no. You expect the answer to be no. So that's why incorrect, anything incorrect, right? So these two can be eliminated. Came about does not fit here. This phrasal verb does not fit here. When something comes about, it happens. Okay, so for instance, if I say, I was not sure that I will get this position, but somehow it came about for me. Okay, somehow it happened. So D is eliminated. Guests can't happen to you. Now, came over, came in. My daughter politely asked them whether or not. This is incorrect here. Whether or not is used, whether or not is used when you mean regardless of. Regardless of. I am going to see the movie whether or not you see it with me. Right? Whether or not you see it with me. So, regardless of, it does not matter. So, this does not fit in the present context. And that is why our answer is C. All right. I hope this makes sense. Hi, Aman. Welcome to the channel. So, C is the answer here. Last question for the day. Let's see what you say. Last question for the day. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Those who did not attend yesterday's session, vocabulary root words, we ended up learning quite a few words using etymology. Do go through that session. I think you will benefit from it. Okay, I discussed some roots such as went, quizate, things that we revised today, but a lot more than this. So do go through that. Okay. D, B, right? The least that we can do for vocabulary is at least to watch some sessions. If let's say we don't actively read and actively learn. B, D, okay. All right, all right. Okay, okay. So this basically you've narrowed down to these two options. Okay. So this was just a repetition of the previous one. That's why I didn't include it in all of the options here from B to E. It should be something, right? We just saw that in positive sentences we should put something. So I'm saying it in a positive sentence that yes, something is wrong with her. Something was wrong with her. Right? So eliminated. Now she always hit people for no reason, or she was always hitting people for no reason. Very happy. So those who say D, that means yes, you have attended some sessions on tenses or you have studied tenses well. Okay, so good. Vishnu answered the fastest, I think, in this one, and followed by Dharmi and Yash. Absolutely correct. D is the answer. Why? Because while for habits, for past habits, see, for our present habits, we use the simple present tense, right? Simple present tense. For our past habits, we use the simple past tense. But when we talk about persistent habits, obstinate habits, negative habits, okay, negative habits, when we talk about them, for that, we do not use the simple tense. We use the present or past, depending on what, if it's a present habit or a past habit, we use the continuous tense for it. Continuous tense, right? And that is why D is the answer. She was always hitting people for no reason. Okay? And this is for a reason. Then probably things were not so wrong with her if she was always hitting people for some reason, for a reason, right? So E is eliminated. One or another, no. One or the other, that's the expression. One or the other reason. One or the other, one or another is erroneous. Eliminated. So I hope this is clear to you why B is not the answer and D is, right? So Vivek, first and foremost, see which area you are weak in. English is vast. Is it grammar? Is it RC passages? Is it vocabulary? Is it logic? Right? And then accordingly, once you find that out, work on those areas, right? You can probably begin by watching some of our sessions, by watching some introductory videos, right? By picking up material, some material, right? Previous year memory based papers could be your starting point, okay? And then see what kind of efforts you need to make. So let's say if simple vocabulary words also pose a problem for you, that means, okay, your weak area is vocabulary, you need to work on it. How can you work on it? By reading, expanding your vocabulary, and by, let's say, going through a vocabulary book. Even now you have, let's say, roughly, even if, let's say, I am on a conservative side, I can say you have 20-25 days. Yes, on a very conservative side. So you can learn, even if you learn 10 words every day, let's say, you can add 200 more words to your vocabulary along with the words that you pick up from your mocks, from your previous year papers, etc. So I think collectively all of that would amount to 500 words. So you will be 500 words richer that way. Okay, so you need to first identify which area you are weak in and then work on that weakness. That's the only way to improve at anything. Okay, there are no magic pills out here. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the session today. Yes, all right, Aishwarya. Oneiromancy is asking what's the meaning of ensconced. Yes, anybody who knows the meaning of ensconced and would like to share with us. I keep on telling you all the meanings, but I want you also to contribute. He ensconced, let's say, himself in an asylum. Asylum meaning a place where you take refuge, right? So basically, when you settle in a safe place, that is called getting yourself ensconced in that place, right? So that's the meaning. Okay, settle, establish, usually in a safe space, a safe place. All right. To understand easily, videos on word power. Uh, so videos particularly on word power, I have never searched for videos that are based on word power made easy. However, you can yourself YouTube this. association based vocabulary, vocabulary based on etymology, let's say, and then you can just start the session and see if you find it interesting. You can probably find out of the sessions, or vocabulary based on association. These can be some interesting vocabulary sessions for you, right? Otherwise, for word par made easy based vocabulary, I think the two sessions that I have taken, I three sessions in fact. By now I have taken three vocabulary full-fledged sessions. I've tried to cover high frequency words there, and apart from this, um, you'll have to search. Apart from that, I've not seen videos as such. You can download this app called Magoosh. I use it, okay, and it helps me learn a number of words through quizzes. So that's one more interesting way that I find of learning vocabulary. Those are also high frequency words. ये सारे भी high frequency हैं. Okay, this is what I do. One video is there of 11 hours. Great. So then you can perhaps watch it in parts, right? Okay, Sanil. Critical reasoning, you mean? I'll find out in my July schedule if I have these sessions. If I don't, then I'll ask our team to include these. Okay. Welcome, welcome. All right. So welcome all of you. I will see you on Tuesday now. Yes. So keep preparing, and if you have any queries, keep asking. Post them in the comments. I'll answer. Okay. This is our comprehensive CAT and other management entrance test program. I think you're aware of the details by now, and we can stay connected via Telegram. Okay. All right. I have a session today at 7, from 7 to 8 also. In case RC passages pose a problem for you, I'll primarily discuss RC strategy for CAT and your RC preparation for CAT. This is what I'll discuss from 7 to 8 p.m. on the BYJU'S exam prep app. Okay. All right then. Bye. Welcome. Welcome. Which is the most scoring part? Vaishnavi, in my opinion, grammar is something that you can score in because it's very concept based. So if you learn the rules, if you know the concepts, then it becomes easier to score there. And RC passages, parajumbles. So parajumbles also is one area. RC passages is dependent on the kind of RC that you get in the exam, right? So in my opinion, grammar, logic, because it's preparation based, and then RCs. I keep vocabulary at the very end because it's very unpredictable. Right? Okay. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, Ashwarya. Welcome. Bye bye. See you.